Sanatana Dharma is cosmic nature. And what's so well not known about this is that we have, at one point, us wanting to know thyself so that then we can live out our purpose or live out our Dharma, be the embodiment of our nature, our unique fingerprint, our unique snowflake design for this incarnation. Dharma is one of the most well-known concepts within the spirit of this age, but many people still don't know Dharma's roots. And Dharma's roots are in Sanatana Dharma. So today, I'm going to be explaining the most ancient concept within this age, Sanatana Dharma. The closest word in the English language to what Dharma would translate over to is nature. So Dharma means our own individual nature, which then, once we follow and embody and learn about, will turn into what's known as knowing thyself. So Dharma is intrinsically linked with knowing thyself, which is why Know Thyself is such a vital and key part of not only esoterica, but of this reality. So Dharma means nature, and to know our nature is to know thyself. Well, then we'd have to know exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about nature, if nature is at the core of Dharma and to know thyself. And nature in this case means two things, just like everything else in esoterica. It's not so straightforward. In this case, we're not talking about our own personal nature. At least not the whole part of our nature. We're talking about first knowing thyself at the level of the ego, which then once we learn enough about our own ego, and then from there we go deeper into the layers of what's called the self. Now the self is the mandala. It is the core witness. It is the core essence that structures the rest of our being into a witness. So what the self is beyond the personal, and it's beyond the ego. So it's this core being of our own consciousness, our own unique consciousness. And so this self is more whole and integrated. But to get to this larger concept called the self, we have to first know thyself at the beginning layers, and those beginning layers are the ego. Now the ego's not a bad guy, but that's what we would first need to start and begin with when we're talking about knowing thyself and knowing our own nature. This includes shadow work as well as understanding our positive traits, our positive qualities, even knowing our either human design or astrological chart, anything that's helping us understand the body, mind, spirit. Anything that's helping us understand our own psyche and the unique nature that our own soul and psyche came into this life as, and the soul path that is leading to what we call purpose. So all of that is to know thyself, which is all linked with our purpose. And Dharma and purpose are very interchangeable. Sanatana means eternal, and Dharma means essential nature. So the essence of our consciousness, our essential nature, wants to learn about itself. So our Dharma wants to know thyself as Sanatana Dharma. Our personal nature seeks to know its eternal nature. To know thyself is to acquire gnosis, or direct experience with this self, the self beyond our everyday identity, and beyond the boundaries of our current concept of self. So knowing thyself means expanding beyond the boundaries and parameters that form and hold together the structure of our consciousness so that we can become universal consciousness. So all of this would be the first layer of knowing thyself. It would be knowing thyself at the layer of our ego, and then from there, knowing ourselves at the next layer, which is our personality. And then from there, going deeper and knowing thyself, therefore our nature, therefore our dharma and our purpose for this incarnation, at the level of our core consciousness, our core whole being, which is the self. So we could look at the ego as being the self, but the ego being the lower self, or the ego being the base consciousness self, the one that is more a multitude of our own complexes that need to be purified, healed, and integrated. And once they're refined and brought awareness to them, and that inner work has been done, they start to be integrated into the true self. So it's not like there's nothing left after we heal and we integrate and we raise our awareness and embody all of the shadow within our ego. Instead, what that's doing is transforming our ego into layers deeper than that of a self. So all of this first layer of Dharma is referring to the personal, and not just the personal self. It's referring to helping us understand our own nature at the ego level and at the level of the psyche. So it's the one that's the most personal and the closest to us. But Sanatana Dharma is one that's now talking about nature, and nature beyond just the personal self. It's now speaking to our cosmic nature. And that's why Sanatana Dharma is known as natural law and cosmic law. So what we know in this age as natural law, which I've done 2 videos on and you could watch them, that is really what Sanatana Dharma is. It's the ancient wisdom of knowing the ground rules for this reality, which is do no harm, but take no shit. So it's something where we have to be active in our role in this reality, meaning we can't just be passively allowing reality to create itself around us. We do have to take actions that are based off of what's called morality. Natural law, or Sanatana Dharma, or a cosmic law, is based off of morality, and morality has a clear definition, and one could even say it's non-negotiable, at least as far as we're talking about esoterica. So our personality can think whatever we want about morality. We could assign it whatever projections we want onto it, but those don't actually matter when we're talking about actual universal consciousness, because universal consciousness has a clear definition of morality, and that is do no harm to others. That's morality. It's you allow everyone else the same exact freedom of yourself, which is also known as the golden rule. And in every religious tradition or spiritual system, you can't get away from the golden rule. It is do unto others as you would do unto yourself. But Sanatana Dharma is one step further. It's saying do unto others as you would do unto yourself, but also, even if you would do unto others things that you would do unto yourself that are restricting your freedom, that still wouldn't be Sanatana Dharma. So it's still not personal or negotiable in that subjective sense. What Sanatana Dharma is everyone else is sovereign. Every other being is free. And when we trespass upon another person's freedom, that is a violation of Sanatana Dharma. So you could do loopholes or mental manipulations to harness another sovereign being's consent, but at the end of the day, Sanatana Dharma is that all other beings are free. And that is truly what love is. It is the cosmic law. It is the natural law of all is free. All other beings are free. All other beings are sovereign. So that's what Sanatana Dharma means when we're talking about it as the ground rules of this reality. But, of course, it means something far deeper and far less known. And it has a cosmic nature to it. And one could even say we have a personal nature, which is to find out who we are, know thyself, And then from there, we will be able to align with our purpose by knowing our own nature, because we're knowing thyself. So then we'll take those actions to become that version of ourselves that would feel in alignment with our soul's purpose or our soul's intention for this lifetime. There's that. And then there's Sanatana Dharma. And Sanatana Dharma is cosmic nature. And what's so well not known about this is that we have, at one point, us wanting to know thyself so that then we can live out our purpose or live out our Dharma, be the embodiment of our nature, our unique fingerprint, our unique snowflake design for this incarnation. And then there's the natural expansion of consciousness, which is truly what know thyself means. The true definition of to know thyself and the true definition of Sanatana Dharma, beyond the ground rules of this reality, beyond cosmic law, beyond morality, is to expand. So when we're talking now about Sanatana Dharma, what we're talking about isn't just nature. It's talking about your cosmic nature. It is saying knowing yourself never ends. So we might go deeper into ourselves, and now, once we go deeper into ourselves, that doesn't mean we stopped knowing thyself. Instead, now we're relating to things from the self. Remember how I was talking about how we have an ego and then we have this integrated whole being of consciousness? And that's called the self? Well, Sanatana Dharma is applying to that part of our being, the witness part of ourself. So once we go deep enough into the layers of knowing thyself, they start peeling away, and now we feel restricted by the personal identity that we were seeking safety in, that we were seeking identity in, that we were seeking security and stability in. And Sanatana Dharma is pointing to that being the whole reason for this universe, this whole reason for the nature of this construct. The nature of this construct, the nature of this universe, is to expand. So when we're talking about Sanatana Dharma being cosmic nature, it means to know thyself, and that's a journey that technically will never end, because we're always going to continue to seek stability in whatever circumstance and identity that we have. And as soon as we get that stability and that security within our consciousness, it will be limiting, it will be restricting, and it will constrict us, because our nature is really to expand. Our nature is really to know thyself continuously. And we'll suffer if we don't know this. If we don't know this, we'll continuously think we're either highly conflict-oriented or highly dramatic or all of these different things. And it's really because we seek security, we seek stability so that we can be able to be present enough inside our experience. And that presence is a layer of knowing thyself. And once we have that stability in that presence of that self, now we want to expand again. So I even look at this through the hierarchy of needs. If we look at this through the hierarchy of needs, can you really hit peak and optimal reasoning and rationale and creativity if you don't even have your basic needs met, like a roof over your head, or like food that you would be able to rely on that you can have twice a day? No. So the moment we get our basic needs met, we'll want to expand. And so that expansion is our true nature. It is the cosmic nature, and it never ends, because knowing thyself never ends. I hope this has helped you expand. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for higher dimensional guidance through spiritual awakening. See you next time.